All right, we're back on the split jerk for today, and we've bumped those percentages up to 85 to 87.5%. So that's the range that I want you to stay within for today. And those percentages are going to be quite a bit higher, particularly on a Tuesday when maybe we're a little bit more fatigued from Monday's training. So you're really going to want to focus on the technique and specifically that hard dip and drive. Be very aggressive on the dip and drive today. Get all the momentum into the barbell that we can, and make sure that we aren't pressing early or leaving something out of that drive. So trying to get under the bar a little bit too quick and not extending all the way at our hips and at our knees to put all of that power into the barbell. We want to make sure that we're getting that done, and then obviously sticking our footwork as we receive that barbell overhead. So percentages are going to be a little bit more difficult to stick today. Lean on that longer side of the rest. So we've got 2 to 4 minutes rest. You might feel ready to go after 2 minutes. Give yourself another minute and see how much fresher you actually do feel under that heavier weight today. So take a little bit longer to rest between these sets. Make sure that we stick them. Make sure that you're dialed in for each rep. We have a sprint to short workout for today's conditioning involving 30 kettlebell swings, 30 or 25 Echo Bike calories, and then another 30 kettlebell swings. And we're going to bump that kettlebell weight up to 70 pounds, which is what we use in our pre-test workout with the kettlebell, 53 pounds for the ladies. So if you use that as the RX weight in our pre-test, then I want you to absolutely use that for today. Now, what I really want you to focus on for grip and rip today is going to be those kettlebell swings. The first set, I want you to try to do unbroken. Hang on for as long as you can. You can recover if you have to in a little bit of your first set of Echo Bike calories. Let's say those first 5 to 10 reps of the Echo Bike calories if you're absolutely exhausted from those kettlebell swings. But I want to hone in on that component of this workout and try to get both of those sets unbroken if we can. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to dog the Echo Bike calories. Like I mentioned, this is going to be a sprint to a short workout, so it's going to go fairly fast, and we want the intensity to be very high for that short amount of time period. I think a blazing fast time for this one is going to be 3 minutes plus, so somewhere in that 3 to 4 minute range. That's going to be really tough to do, but I think it is doable if you're able to hang on to that kettlebell and then maintain a high intensity, consistent pace on that Echo Bike. But our goal times are going to be closer to that 4 to 7 minute mark, and for sure want to try to get under that 7 minute mark by doing those kettlebell swings unbroken if possible. Now, in order to get those kettlebell swings unbroken, one of those things you can focus on is driving hard and fast with the legs. Stand fast from that bottom of the athletic position or that hinge position, right? And almost jump or pretend you're trying to throw that kettlebell up over your head. We don't want to get a whole lot of arm involvement early on this one because those arms are smaller muscles. They're going to fatigue faster. Your shoulders, your biceps, those things that you're using to get that kettlebell overhead are going to fatigue faster than your bigger muscle groups of your legs. So we want to try to focus on really driving that kettlebell overhead with the legs for both of those sets of 30. Accessories today is going to work just a little bit on our pressing strength with that Arnold's press. Make sure that we load those dumbbells as heavy as we can while we still get all of those 10 reps unbroken. That's going to be it for today. We'll see you guys tomorrow.